So even though the Midnight expansion has not yet arrived, there are already plenty of ways to obtain housing decorations across the old expansions. And so in today's video, I'm going to cover 5 efficient and reliable ways to farm up housing decorations across multiple expansions, especially since once Midnight drops, you already have a lot of this stuff collected and complete before then. And with that, the first method I like to highlight is dungeon and raid drops, and one easy way to determine which exact instances actually drop decoration items would be to just use the adventure guide. I can generally tell you though that in Dragonflight, Battle for Azeroth, of course Legion, which especially if you did Legion Remix, you'll probably have gotten a lot of these already, but also in Worlds of Draenor, Mist of Pandaria, and some of the older expansions all have associated drops from various instances. One notable exception is Shadowlands that doesn't seem to have any instances drop decoration items, save for if you actually want to complete the overall Shadowlands meta achievement, which will take quite a bit of effort and time. It does unlock some pretty cool rewards, including a piece of decoration. There are also drops from the War Within dungeons, and for those you can actually just queue up follower dungeons to get them. Now, one really cool piece of deco I do want to highlight is the Horde Warlord's Throne, which drops from Garrosh Hellscream, the final boss of the Siege of Orgrimmar raid in Mist of Pandaria. And a little known trick is that there's actually a way to directly skip to Garrosh Hellscream in the raid, and that's once you zone into the Siege of Orgrimmar, look for Lorewalker Cho inside the entrance and click on the Scroll of Past Deeds, which will basically skip you all the way to Garrosh to allow you to pretty much just pick up your awesome piece of deco, the Warlord's Throne, super quickly. Moving on, I actually want to cover sort of a category of a way to farm decoration items, and that is through expansion specific resources. For example, in the War Within, we've got resonance crystals, in Dragonflight, Dragonile supplies, and so on and so forth. Because a lot of these decoration items, especially the reputation gated items, also require these specific resources that you kind of have to farm, but I'll reveal some efficient ways to do so to be able to buy them. And with that, first of all, for the War Within faction decoration items, there are 2 very notable weekly events or weekly quests that I would recommend doing for extremely efficient resonance crystal acquisition. The first one is the Ecological Succession weekly quest in Koresh, although you do have to progress the quest line within Koresh up to that point to unlock it. But once you do, not only will you unlock a weekly source of 900 resonance crystals, which is quite a lot for the amount of work you actually do each week, but it actually rewards you with lots of other stuff like reputation, pets, transmog, etc. So all in all, it's just a great weekly quest to do if you're into collecting especially other stuff in addition to the decoration items. The other one is down in Hallowfall, and it is the Nightfall event. It's actually AFKable and it's extremely easy to do and access, and it also rewards you with some hefty amounts of resonance crystals among other things each week. Now, before we move on to the next thing, I do want to just quickly acknowledge that besides getting this currency required to purchase these decoration items, you'll of course also need the reputation or renown levels to unlock them. But for that, I would just highly recommend completing the main quest lines for whichever expansions with the items you're the most interested in, as that will not only give you reputation or renown levels on its own, and then unlock multiple ways to earn additional renown or rep with these factions that you'd like, but also by doing these quests, the quest rewards themselves will often be decoration items too. And with that, onto Dragonflight, there are plenty of factions that reward cool decoration items in this expansion, and I would say that gaining renown is actually more of the easier part to this because there are plenty of quests or say weekly or daily quests that you can do or events around the Dragon Isles that you can get renown with, but the Dragon Isle supplies is much more of a bottleneck in terms of acquiring these deco items. And so to acquire them, the first recommendation I have would be to complete a lot of the dragon riding races around the Dragon Isles, especially ones that you see are attached to world quests. So these are pretty efficient, especially if you're skilled at dragon riding. If you can get a good speed on each race, you'll be able to earn these chunks of Dragon Isle supplies fairly quickly, just going around the Dragon Isles, completing them. And aside from that, you also want to look out for world quests, especially like the world boss world quest. You can easily solo a world boss to complete the quest. And a second way to do it, especially if you're not so keen on doing the dragon riding races, maybe it's not your favorite activity, you can also go over to the Forbidden Reach zone, which is in the top right corner or northeastern corner of the Dragon Isles. Go over to the Forbidden Reach and then fly over to specifically the warcraft area. It's kind of like a cave area where you can farm elites that drop a certain type of scroll that you can turn in for, again, also a good chunk of Dragon Isle supplies. And one way to actually guarantee these scrolls to drop is as you're farming this elite zone, again called the War Crush, you also get these resources that you can then use the resource to go back to the NPC zone within the Forbidden Reach to buy up this thing called a scrying crystal. And these scrying crystals will actually guarantee these scrolls drop. So it's kind of like a nice cycle, positive cycle to have to get these resources to allow more guaranteed drops of these scrolls that will give you Dragon Isles supplies. Alright, and on to Battle for Azeroth and its exclusive war resources. That's what they're called. This can be a bit more tricky compared to the other aforementioned expansions to farm, but I found that world quests is a decent way to do so. Apparently completing the main quest lines also give a fair amount of war resources, as well as just opening chests and killing elites around the Battle for Azeroth zones, although I haven't had as much luck doing that. But apparently that is a really good way to also supplement your war resource income. Oh, and of course, with world quests, you'll also be able to do the emissaries, and doing that should help as well. Another thing I want to mention about Battle for Azeroth is that there are a lot of alternate currencies, such as the service medals from doing the Warfront zones, the Seafarer doubloons, which unlocks like special chests, deco that you get from island expeditions if you're into any of that stuff. And just overall though, I would still recommend, if you haven't done so already, doing a lot of the main quest line for Battle for Azeroth on either faction or even both factions, because they do award unique rewards from each faction. So these quests alone will not only give you the reputation you'll want to unlock, some of the rewards, but also a lot of decoration rewards that actually unlock from doing the quests themselves, or achievements that unlock them just from doing these quests. And last but not least here, I want to highlight PvP and especially PvP achievements. So there are actually quite a few decorations attached to PvP, and some are a lot easier than others. There are some that are fairly time consuming and difficult, but there are definitely achievements that are super easy as well. For example, you literally just need to win one battle of Deep Hall Ravine, and also Battle for Gilneas to unlock their respective rewards. And also you can unlock one from just achieving 30 honorable kills in a battleground. And yeah, another one is you literally just need to win a duel against another player. You can even win trade with them to unlock these respective deco pieces. And with that, those are 5 efficient ways to acquire, or rather farm, some of the resources necessary to pick up a lot of the decoration items from older expansions. If you haven't already, you can also check out my other video, my previous video, covering 6 easy ways to quickly acquire decoration items, many of which are a lot faster and kind of more instant than the methods I covered in this video, so be sure to check out that video as well. And with that, thank you so much for watching. Let me know if you have any other tips that you want to share in the comment section below, and I'll be sure to reply to your comments. Consider subscribing to my channel for more cutting edge guides like this one. And with that, happy hunting, and I will catch you in the next one.